Hey everybody. Alright, so today we reached a major milestone in production. We received our very first production copy of Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. This is called the advanced copy. It's the first one off the production line. In its shrink wrap, I mean, for all intents and purposes, it is shelf ready. But, however, it still is a checkpoint. This checkpoint is to make sure that the assembly is done correct, make sure that all the components are there, nothing's missing, things like that. All the files, the art, all that's already been checked off and approved. So this is really just about making sure that nothing in the game is missed, and to give us a chance to see what the final product looks like before we send these out into the wild. So we're getting really close, guys. This is awesome. This is moving right along. So that's great news. We only received one copy, so this is it, the one that you see in front of you in its shrink wrap. So I've actually not gone through this. I haven't had any sort of head start on you guys. You're going to be experiencing this and seeing it for the first time, just like me. So let's take a look here. So first we got this huge box. I wish I had something handy to kind of compare it to. Let me grab a Tiny Epic game. Here, I'm going to show you a Tiny Epic game. I mean, I've already shown you how big the box is, but there you go. I mean, it is tremendous. So you can kind of get an idea of just how big this really is. So, all right. Well, yeah, this is... there we go. Let me just show you all the sides. That's pretty sweet. We got little notchings here on the sides so that it's easier to take the lid off. There's the back of the box. And then there's the other side. And then I showed you that side. And there you are. This guy weighs almost 8 pounds. It's like 7.5 pounds, just this box alone. So, I mean, it is quite heavy. This is really a hefty game. But, well, let's not delay any further. Let's tear into this thing and see what's inside. Now, if there's mistakes or anything inside, then you're going to discover them right alongside me. And, of course, if there are any mistakes, then, that's what this whole process is for. I'll get back in touch with the factory and say, hey, look, we're missing this or too many of this or whatnot. And we'll learn together. Okay, so the shrink wrap is off. Let's see what's inside here. All right. Wow. Okay. So there we are. So right in, we just kind of set this off to the side here. First thing we see, looks like we got the 4 airship stands. They come in a Ziploc bag. There you are. These just insert right underneath the different air vessels of the factions and allow them to come up off the board for a really awesome 3D effect. It really helps the game come to life in a major way. So those are right on top. Next we get the Construct Assembly Guide. So this is just going to help you with assembling. It's just blank on one side. On this side, it's going to go through each of the kind of different constructs that come in the game, and that way it kind of gives you a guide for how to put it all together, because it can be a little bit at first. It's going to take a little bit of time and a little bit of effort to get everything together, but it's totally worth it. Okay, so let me just show you the sides here. We've got the human faction story. So it tells you all about the human faction, the elf faction story, the orcs, and the dwarves. So those are the 4 factions that come in the base game. You get to learn all about those on the sides of the box there. Okay, so this is our exploration token overview sheet. This is going to go through what all the different exploration tokens do. And then on the back side we have kind of a player aid. This will just help kind of go on like what it's the process of a round, what the action selection is like, what the regions are and how they're delineated and whatnot. So nice little player aid right there. And then it looks like we get into the rule book. And this starts with the faction, or not the faction, but the world story of Ogmore. So you get to learn all about Ogmore. And then we go through this beautifully laid out rule book. Thanks to Ben Schulman, our graphic designer, very, very talented individual, really does a bang-up job on this. You can tell that it wasn't a rush job. I mean, he really took his time. And like anybody on the Gamelin team, he believes that, his latest work is his greatest work, right? Like, you're only as good as your latest work. And so, we always try to make sure everything we do is the very, very best that, that we can do. But, I mean, you can just see that it's really, really nicely laid out. Lots of visual examples. This here is the faction stories again. So whether you find them on the box or you find them in here. And then we go into some solo play, some team play. That's kind of detailed out there. And then on the very back, we have a glossary. So this kind of functions as a bit of a frequently asked questions, but not really. They're not presented in the form of questions, but it'll definitely help you kind of identify certain terms, what things mean, and it'll just help give you a better understanding of some of the details of the game. Okay, so next we see the game board. So this thing is really great. Let me move the rest of the box out of the way just for a moment, and I'll crack this open and show you how awesome this is. Feels really, really nice. It's got a really nice kind of a linen texture and finish to it. So it's quad fold. It's huge. Just takes up every little bit of space on this screen here. This is the 5 to 6 player side, so you can see that the ferry routes lead off into some unknown space because you're only going to be playing with this side of the board if you've picked up the expansion. And then you'll connect another board to it. Otherwise, there's the other side, and this is the 1 to 4 player side, and so this is what you'll be playing on most of the time if you're just playing the base game. Very beautiful. Colors are very vibrant. It's really, really nice. This is really great to see in person. Okay, so there's the board. And let's see what else we got in this box. Okay, so it looks like we go right into the constructs then. These are the punch boards where you'll put together, that should be 6 sheets. So we got the humans, the elves, and you'll just punch all these out and follow the assembly guide to put them all together. Got the dwarves, the orc content, some more airships, all the exploration tokens, some more air vessels, and more exploration tokens. So yep, that's all 6 sheets. So those are all accounted for. Okay, and then comes the player boards. So these are for the 4 factions: the humans, the orcs, dwarves, elves. These have a really nice feel to them as well. I was just kind of noticing. That's a very, very nice quality. You're not going to be disappointed in that one bit. And then on the back side, this represents the solo AI. So if you're playing against the humans, you'll have this side flipped over. And so you get 4 different factions to play against, at least here in the base game, and then some more in the expansion. So there's the player boards. And those represent your capital city. That's where your buildings are. That's where all that awesome stuff is happening. And then down in here, we've got our miniatures, our cards, the wood tokens, etc. So it's got a cover on there as well. So let's pull these guys out and see what's going on here. Okay, we'll set that aside. So, and it looks like it's taped. So that'll probably just be nice to keep them from rattling or moving around. So it's got tape on both sides. So let me just untape this here, and then we can get into taking a closer look at these pieces. This is really nice, guys. Holy smokes. I mean, this is a horse of a different color for Gamelin Games. You know, you're all, you know that we make Tiny Epic games, and this is like Tiny Epic times 10. So it's really, really monumental to be doing this right now, and especially with you guys. And for the first time, we're all really seeing it together, and that's really fun. So we got some more tape. Nope. Okay. So there we go. So we got the humans and the orcs on top, and then the elves and the dwarves on bottom, and then we got this little cover. So let's take a look here at the wood pieces. Alright, so there's the first player token, Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea, screen printed. Here's the faction tokens. These are for your victory point tally. So each faction gets their own with their screen printed logo. On the back it just says 50 plus, just so when you score over 50 points. And then these are your action tokens. So every faction is going to get 2 of these. These represent the actions that you're taking each round. And they're also screen printed with your faction's emblem on there. That's just so nice. All right, and then so that was the correct count, 2 for each faction plus their victory point tokens, and then we should have a total of 5 of each type of resource because you're going to have 1 for each player and then 1 for the tax section on the board. So there's the mana, that's 5 mana, 5 food, yep, and 5 ore. So it looks like we got all the wood pieces accounted for. So there you go. Those are really nice too. Kind of a subtle but definitely noticeable screen printing on those that really just give them a nice sense of quality. Okay, so let's take a look at some of these cards. So you'll see that the top tray actually has a couple of wells where you put the cards, and so it looks like this well is for your tokens, this one is for your spell cards, and this one is for the rest of the cards in the game, which will include your action cards, your solo cards, tactic cards, you know, all the goodies, the hero cards. Okay, so we'll tear into this and we'll kind of count it and just make sure that we got everything that we need here. Okay, so got the elf assassin hero, the elf sorceress hero. There's the elf commander card. So that's the 3 heroes for the elves, the 3 heroes for the dwarves. So we got the marauder, the priestess, and the cannoneer. The orcs, we got the berserker, the shaman, the chieftain, and then for the humans we got the swashbuckler, the mage, and the paladin. Okay, and then it looks like we move next into the tactic cards. So for here we're going to want to have 28 tactic cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay, so, and it looks like they come in order here, so that makes it pretty nice to just do an inventory count as well. So retreat is 1 of 7, 2 of 7, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of 7, so that's a full tactic deck, no repeats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. That's 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7. And you can see what I'm referring to down here at the bottom where it says 1 of 7. So, okay, so that shows that there's no repeats. All the tactic cards are there. That's great. And then here are the solo cards. It's the enemy action for solo play. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. There should be 8. Yep. So, and there shouldn't be any repeats here, because they're a little bit different. So you can kind of see the compass points in a different direction for each of these, because depending on what card is drawn, even if it's like an attack card and there's a couple of attack cards, it's still going to move the enemy in a different direction. So again, no repeats. So we got all the directions represented. So all of those cards are present. So that's awesome. Okay, so we'll just set those aside for now. And then we got the spell deck. This should have 60 spells. Just kind of going off the top of my head here, but that's, I believe that's correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 for 60. So all of our spell cards are there. And then there's the back side of the spell cards. Okay, so it looks like we're not missing any components. So that's great. And then try to get a little bit of a closer look. I'll take some of these out and show you. So there's the Orc Chieftain. You're going to have probably a little bit of a focus issue, and so unfortunately may not get the best look at it right now. But I can assure you it's incredibly high detail. Let me see if that helps focus it or not. Not really. Can't really tell very well the level of detail, but these guys are just fantastic. You're just going to have to trust me on this one, but the quality of these are top notch. These guys look so nice. That's one of the Orc Serfs. You can probably hear as I'm pulling these out, that's the Human Paladin. You can hear as I'm pulling them out, they snap in and they hold in place really well so that they're not shaking around. There's the Human Swashbuckler. Yeah, so it's a vacuum sealed tray. Each one of them has their own unique spot so that they clip in really nice. They stay in place when you're taking the game to your friend's house or to game night or wherever you're going. There's the Orc Berserker. She's super rad and really scary, so beware if a player hires her. She's very dangerous. There's one of the Orc Warriors. He's really cool. Okay, and then over on this side we've got the Dwarfs. Really nice, vibrant colors. Again, the detail on these are tremendous. And everybody's accounted for. Nobody's missing. That's great. There's the elf heroes up there. Okay, wow. Wow. Well, that's just really great. So there you are. That's the base game. Everything revealed there for the base game. Okay, so to put it all back, I'll probably put it back in a bit of a reverse order. I'll go game board down first. I'll put all the rules down underneath it, and then I'll go the miniatures next, and then the player board and constructs up on here. There's the turn it around. There's the airship stands. And then again, the box has these notches on both sides, so it'll just a little finger notch. It'll help you lift that up off the top. Okay. Wow. That's quite the masterpiece, guys. You're just gonna love this. This is really so cool. Okay, so there's the base game. Let's take a look at some other stuff. Here's the expansion. Same size box, just as huge. It weighs about 6 pounds, so it's just a little bit lighter. You can see that's really, really nice as well. On the side, we show King Omdiak, the undead king. There's the back of the box showing all the factions that come in this game. You get the lions, the undead, the lizard folk, the goblins. You get the board extension. This has the notches as well. There's that side, and then over on this side as well. Okay, so let's tear into this guy. Again, this is the first time I'm seeing any of this too, so we get to experience this all together. All right. Got a white interior lining versus just the normal cardboard. With this one, you're going to get 2 additional airships to account airship stands to account for players 5 and 6, and then we get the undead here, the faction story for the goblins here, the Lionkins faction story, and the lizard folk faction story. So there's a small kind of a rule book here. It's going to go over some more of the world story of Ogmore and how it changes with the addition of the new factions for the Order and Chaos. Then you're going to get the faction stories. There's also victory stories for each faction. So that's pretty cool. At the end of the game, if you win with a certain faction, you get to read its victory story. And then on the back side, it's going to have just a little bit of the expansion setup. I mean, that's really like the only extent of the rules, because it's just based off the base game's rules. And then the component sheet, or component count. Okay, so let's take a look. In this one, we have the extension board here. It's a dual fold, and it's going to add on to the side of the main board. And then nothing on the back, because it's just for 5 and 6 players. You'll use the board that came in the base game in conjunction with it. And then we get the, looks like up next we see the punch boards for the factions constructs. This one has 5 sheets, and so got the lions, the undead, the lizards, the goblins, and then this has some of the airships, some of the undead's tokens, and so this is the 5th page. So yeah, we got all of our punch boards accounted for, and they look really, really nice. They're very vibrant. Okay, so we'll set those aside. And then underneath here we have the faction boards. So you're going to have the lions, capital city, the undead, the lizard folk, and the goblins. And again, on the back side of each of these, you get another solo opponent. So between the 2 games, you're going to have 8 different solo opponents that you can face off against. That's pretty remarkable. All right, and then here are the miniatures. So another 2 trays of miniatures. You take the tape off this one. I got this one taped up as well. Okay, so up on top we have the undead and the lion folk. That's going to be the first ones featured, and then this one's got a cover as well. Let's just see if we can take a look. Again, it's going to be hard to get a decent focus on this guy. Like every once in a while he pops into focus, but only for a brief second. But he looks very well. Looks very high detailed, and he just snaps in place like that. These guys all just kind of snap in place so that they don't fall out. There's the undead heroes up top here. Some more faction tokens. Let's just do a count, make sure we got all the tokens. So here we're going to need 2 action tokens for each faction. So there's the lion folk, the lionkin, there's the lizards, the goblins, and the undead. So 2, 2, 2, and 2, so that's all there. And then each faction has their score token with a 50 printed on the back. That's all correct. That's all there. So there's all of those. And then you'll get enough resources to add players 5 and 6. So you just get 2 more mana, 2 more food, and 2 more ore. Okay, so that's accounted for. So all the wood tokens are here. And then you get a couple extra cards here because you're going to get your tactic decks for players 5 and 6, as well as the hero cards for each faction. So bear with me as I struggle to tear into this deck here. There we go. Well, I got it started. Alright, almost. I don't want to crease the cards or anything, so I'm trying to do it carefully. There we are. Okay, so that's the Underworld card for the Undead faction. That's kind of a little extra thing that the Undead faction get. Got the 3 Lion heroes, the Gladiator, the Oracle, the Monk, the 3 Undead heroes, the Lich, Wraith, Reaper, the 3 Lizard heroes, the Headhunter, the Witch Doctor, the Ranger, and then the 3 Goblin heroes, the Tyrant, the Rocketeer, and the Pyros. And then 2 more sets of tactic cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. All accounted for. Okay, so we got all of the cards and all the wood tokens. Looks like the cards again gets its own little well, and then the tokens just kind of sit in this well. There's also room here. Once you get your exploration tokens punched out, you'll be able to put them in the base game in the well. Probably the one that's underneath like this one is here. So there's the goblins and the lizard folk. Here's the Tyrant, King Glut. Alright, so it looks like everything is accounted for with the miniatures and the components. Everything is there, so that's great. So this passes the assembly test. And then kind of like the base game, I'll just kind of put the board down first. And then the rules. And then I'll come over top with the figures, and then the faction boards and punch boards, and the airship stands. And there you are. So that's everything in the base game and the expansion for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. And if you want to stick around, I will show you the promo packs. So we have 3 promo packs. We've got the Mercenary Pack 1, Mercenary Pack 2, the Nomads, and then the Siege equipment, and then also the card sleeves. And then I don't have the mat with me right now, but you've seen the mat if you've seen our most recent video, but I'll be showing more of the mat later. But let's bust into these Mercenary Packs. Again, these are all in shrink wrap. I've not seen them yet. This is my first time. So we've got the Mercenary Packs. It's going to include Gamelin, and then the Minotaur, the Giant, and the Treant. So you can kind of see on the side, it's really cool. It features kind of like a little headshot of each of the characters. So you got Gamelin, Giles, Nock, and Betula, and then on the back it shows them as well. Get a little contents list, a little image of them. Okay, so we'll open this up. And there they are. So you get 4 premium figures in this pack. Very, very beautiful figures. And then you get a small pack of cards that will include their hero cards. So here's your mercenary rules. That's just going to tell you how to implement the mercenaries into the game. And then there you go. There's your Hill Giant Nock, the Warlord Gamelin, the Minotaur Giles, and the Treant Betula. So there's all their hero cards. Every hero card has a little story on the back. The amount of text in this game that's dedicated to just storytelling is phenomenal. So if you're into a really rich theme and a backstory, then this game is there for you. We've got it all. So that's cool. That comes just like that. Very simple. Nothing else in the box. You just get your cards, your rules, and your figures. Okay, Mercenary Pack 2. This one's a little bit thicker. This one features Mechmaster Sid and Balador. These are the kind of the larger statured figures. Just, you know, even though like the Giant's big and the Treant's big, but this one has like the mech, and the demon has the wings. On the back you get to see the miniatures as well, and a little contents there. So there we are. So you get those 2 super rad figures. Again, in little vacuum sealed spots. And then there's their cards. And then this looks like it includes another set of the mercenary rules, just in case this happens to be like the only pack you picked up or something. Then you get another set of the rules, just so you have them. And then you get the hero cards, of course, for Balador and Mechmaster Sid. So that's awesome. Alright, so that's all accounted for. So far, so good, guys. So far, so good. Quite proud of the factory. They've done a really bang-up job on this game. Okay. Up next, we'll take a look at the Nomad Expansions. This is a nice long box. Let's see where I can find a small break in the shrink wrap here. All right. So on the sides, we just see the name, Nomads. We see kind of some of the Nomad figures right there on the back. We get a good look at the figures. This one's going to include some additional spells, as well as a hero card for the Nomads. So let's take a look inside. So there's your 10 Nomad figures that come in this game, or in this expansion. Well, little mini expansion or promo. And then it looks like the spells and the hero cards are tucked into this little packet here. So you're going to get 6 new spells. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then the Nomads card. And there should be a small sheet of rules. So let's go back into the box and make sure the rules are present. Just put these back in their little pouch. Okay, there we go. And there's the rules. I heard it rattling around. Getting nervous at first, but there they are. So there's your Nomad rules. That's going to run you through how to introduce the Nomads into play. There's a couple of ways to play with them as wandering Nomads, or as an additional mercenary option if you want to play with the Nomads as mercenaries, more like you do with the other promo packs. There's that. There's the Nomads expansion. And then here's the Siege equipment. So It's just a sheet with the punch outs of 6 different siege equipment. You get 2 catapults, 2 siege towers, and 2 ballistas. And then this little pack includes their cards. This will either be inside this pack or they'll be shrink wrapped together. But you get 2 ballista cards, 2 catapult cards, 2 siege tower cards, and then there's the rules for how to introduce these siege engines into play. All right, so that's everything in terms of game content. Lastly is the pack of sleeves. So this is going to include 170 sleeves so that you can sleeve every card that comes in everything I just showed you. So you're going to be able to sleeve all the base game, all the expansion, all the promo heroes, the mercenaries, etc. And then you still have a little bit left over. So when you break this open, looks like you get a series of different types because you're going to get clear backs. These ones are going to be for like your hero cards so that you can read their stories. These are the tactic cards, so it just features the same back as the tactic cards and then a clear front so that you can see what your card is. Here are the enemy action cards for solo play. So there's your solo cards, and then the tactic ones are going to cover all the way through the expansion. So it's 6 full decks there. And then there's the spell cards, and then there's enough here to cover the additional spells that come with the Nomad expansion as well. So again, you get it all. You get a custom pack of sleeves specifically for Heroes of Land, Air, and Sea. Guys, I hope you really enjoyed that. I sure had a lot of fun looking at it. It looks like everything is accounted for. That's just amazing. I'm so excited to get this out to you guys, and I'll definitely be sharing more on the timeline as I have a better idea. But until then, I will talk to you later, and thanks a lot for watching. Bye-bye.